Thank you, Faye. Good evening once again. Frank Lampard was angry, not disappointed, but angry after Chelsea's capitulation at Arsenal. And he needs a reaction here tonight against a Villa team who are being organised superbly by Chelsea's old captain, leader and legend, John Terry. And he'll be offering little sympathy to his old teammate pre-match at least, because Aston Villa are currently on a charge in the Premier League. The only side at this level yet to concede a goal in December, and they're facing a Chelsea team who are keen to avoid 4 defeats in 5 games. Frank Lampard promised changes. He's talked about the schedule as much as the performance on Boxing Day, and there are 6 in total. Out go Zuma, Silva, Kovacic, Abraham, Werner and James. In come Rudiger, Christensen, Jorginho, Giroud, Hudson-Odoi and Azpilicueta. The Chelsea team is Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen and Chilwell, Conte, Jorginho and Mount in midfield, with Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi supporting Giroud. As for Aston Villa, of course, they played 48 hours ago as well and performed extremely well to beat Crystal Palace by 3-0. That's despite the early red card for Tyrone Mings when it was only a single goal lead. Of course, he is missing from this match, and Ross Barkley is also ineligible, so only one change, and it's Ezri Konsa who returns alongside Courtney Howes at the heart of the Villa defence. Martinez in goal, Cash, Howes, Konsa and Targett their back four. Douglas Luiz and McGinn holding in midfield, with Traore, Grealish, El Ghazi and Watkins leading their attack. And Dean Aston, I think Villa will really fancy this here today.
Oh, they will. I think they would have looked to that back line coming in. Obviously, Azpilicueta, plenty of experience, but there's only 11 Premier League appearances between Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger. And you would just feel, is there going to be a little bit of rust there? Can we get at this Chelsea side? And also, it's not filled full of goals. If you look at Giroud, clearly 7 in 7, he's in form, but Pulisic...
Yeah, 4 against Sevilla, though, in one game.
Exactly, and look, Pulisic, 1 Premier League goal, Mount, 1 Premier League goal, Hudson-Odoi, 1 Premier League goal. There isn't exactly an abundance of attacking players who are scoring goals and in form at the moment.
And it's significant for Hudson-Odoi, only his second Premier League start this season. Of course, he's had injuries as well. He was the player they sent out for the post-match injury media duties at the Emirates, so clearly he's the player they feel did least worst in that game in many ways. But he's a player who could have a very big 12 months coming up, but he needs to play.
Yeah, he does, and... to be honest, every time I've watched him, I have been impressed with him. I know we all talk about he needs to improve his end product, but I always feel like his energy's there, the intensity's there, the intent is there. And of course, when you play for a top side, the quality's got to be there as well. But I think, again, he's probably someone that deserves just a little bit more of a run in the side, a bit more from his manager to say, here we go, I really trust you to go and have 4 or 5 games and start getting the goals and assists and end product that we want.
And Faye made the point pre-match there. I mean, Frank Lampard was highly critical of his players on Boxing Day, and in many ways rightly so. But is he doing that to maybe put distance between himself and what was a really bad performance against a major rival?
I'd hope not, because I think that would be weak of a manager just to try and, you know, oust the players and make it out to be none of his fault. I just think he wants to make the point of how that is just not acceptable from any Chelsea side. He fully understands what's expected of this club in every single Premier League match, and that just wasn't good enough. It's as simple as that, and he didn't want any excuses, and rightly so, he's made changes. So it'll be interesting to see who wants to step up tonight.
Well, Aston Villa have emerged from their tunnel away to the right-hand side, wearing their change kit of white shirts, very dark blue, almost black shorts and blue socks, and Jack Grealish, their captain, heading forward to meet Cesar Azpilicueta, the referee Stuart Atwell for this evening. And Azpilicueta, a player who continues to bob in and out of this Chelsea team at the moment, but he's offering reliability at a time when they have been conceding a number of goals, particularly away from home. And Olivier Giroud just paused in prayer on the edge of the centre circle, and he could have a really big role to play for Chelsea here this evening. And it says so much about his performances that At times he seems to be on his way out of Stamford Bridge, but when they really need him, he is the player they go to. And it's Chelsea who will get the game underway, wearing all blue, attacking the shed in the first half. A reminder, our 8 o'clock commentary on TalkSport this evening between Everton and Manchester City has been postponed due to a prolonged COVID outbreak in the Manchester City squad. So that match will be taking place at a later date. Of course, Chelsea are due to play Manchester City on Sunday, but here this evening their focus will be on Aston Villa. A blast on the whistle from Stuart Atwell, and both sets of players and officials take the knee on and off the field. And it's Chelsea who get our second Premier League commentary of the day underway here on TalkSport. Don't forget, tomorrow, right across the TalkSport network, all 5 of the Premier League games coming up, including 4 of the matches at 6 o'clock. And the TalkSport app is the best way to follow all of the action. Aston Villa looking to build on this near side with their former Chelsea man Bertrand Traoré, but his ball lofted across the field is quickly cut out, and the scurrying Pulisic will bring it forward for Chelsea, but Traoré comes back to redeem his earlier error. A long diagonal ball forward, taken down on the chest by Ollie Watkins, and then Giroud goes tumbling as he wins the ball back in the centre circle. And here's the first opportunity for Hudson-Odoi to attack down the Chelsea right-hand side. His ball in field, though, is cut out by Howes, and in the end Grealish has been fouled by Azpilicueta, and the Premier League's most fouled player gets a free kick.
Just the way he goes down, just the way he almost throws his body into the challenges Jack Grealish himself to win them free kicks. And look, it's priceless for his team because they were penned into the corner there. Gets his team free kick and they can come forward. Just quickly, Ollie Watkins I thought was absolutely outstanding against Crystal Palace, and I'm sure we would have seen a lot in his times at Brentford just how hard he works. He won't give Rudiger and Christensen any time whatsoever, so they will have to be sharp tonight.
He was a wide player during his time at Brentford under Dean Smith, but he was converted to a striker once they sold Neil Mopai, and Thomas Frank was in charge last season, and he repaid them with so many goals, and he earned his move to the Premier League as Martinez clears downfield again. It's a good ball from him, wide towards the left-hand side, but given away by Target. Jorginho down the line looking for Hudson-Odoi, but Target does well to win it back, and eventually Chelsea will gather, but there's pressure on Christensen as Grealish bears down on him by the corner flag on the far side, and eventually Christensen is able to dig out the clearance, but Villa have a throw in here, level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area down their left.
I know it's only been a couple of minutes, but you can tell Villa are confident, can't you? Every single player really at it right from the start, all looking to press Chelsea, make it difficult.
It's dabbed in field, but it's cut out by Jorginho on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Here is Giroud now with his back to goal, where he can be such an effective force. And Conte wide towards Hudson-Odoi, cuts in field from the right. A long diagonal ball to pick out Chilwell, who will try and break into the penalty area, but it's Traoré who comes back to track his run, blocks the cross, and it will be a throw into Chelsea with 3 minutes played on game day here on TalkSport. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. Both these sides looking to move fourth in the table with a victory, and it's Mount who looks to ping a ball into the penalty area. Lunging across to make the challenge was Matty Cash, and it's Chelsea who have the game's first corner.
Well, not quite the threat of Zuma and Thiago Silva, who have been in the goals this season from set plays, but still a good opportunity with the delivery of Mount.
Mount with a low flat delivery towards the near post, which is headed away towards this near side by Cash, and now Grealish again crumples to the turf again under the challenge of Hudson-Odoi, and Frank Lampard says no way, that's not a free kick, and the officials agree with it.
We had such a as
Pulisic goes down now, and no free kick given again as he tumbles under the challenge of Cash, and Stuart Atwell making a couple of interesting calls in the opening few minutes.
Well, he's absolutely right. We've got a perfect view. We're right below them, above them, should I say, on this side of the pitch where the dugouts are. And every single one of those challenges, all three, weren't a free kick. You know, it was. We can see Grealish throwing himself into the challenge rather than being challenged. Same for Pulisic.
And it's a throw-in for Aston Villa after all of that, with 4 minutes played here, 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. It's a still but bitterly cold evening here. The temperature already hovering around zero as Pulisic flicks on. Good use of the chest by Giroud again to guide it into the path of Mount, who will try and take on McGinn, but McGinn, all arms and legs, sprawls into the challenge with Mount, and the final touch was off the Scotsman, and it's another Chelsea corner down this near side.
Yeah, he's changed his role slightly this season. McGinn sat a little bit deeper, more with Douglas Luiz. I think that's really helped Villa shore things up, and he's such a tenacious player.
Mount will take the corner again. Hudson-Odoi coming forward as the shorter option, but again it's low into the near post, flicked towards goal and gathered at the second attempt by Emi Martinez.
Yeah, that was a better set play from Mount. Great kick from Martinez.
Great kick from Martinez. Jorginho initially cut the ball out, but then it ran loose to Grealish, and there was just an arm extended there by Jorginho, and Grealish bought the contact, and it's a free kick, and this time it is a free kick.
Yeah, goalkeepers have become masters of the side-winding volleyed goal kick. It's a joy to watch when it comes off and it pierces away through the air, and as we can expect, Jack Grealish did get a free kick that time.
Now Konsa with the ball down the line for Watkins down the right. Slings over a cross, which is gathered now at the far post by El Ghazi. An opportunity to attack Azpilicueta. Back towards Grealish again, who feints on a couple of occasions, cuts in field, right foot shot from Grealish, and it's turned aside by Mendy. A really good save following a typically audacious effort from Jack Grealish.
Well, even N'Golo Conte couldn't contain Grealish there. He just slowed it right down to a walk. All it took was that body movement. He doesn't do a lot in terms of actual trickery, Jack Grealish. It's more in the body shape, the way he kind of swerves one way and the other. Just literally jinked past Conte as if he wasn't there. Great save from Mendy, stretching out to his left-hand side.
6 minutes played. First corner for Aston Villa. On this near side, they're right, attacking the Matthew Harding stand. And there is the John Terry banner, captain, leader, legend, just fluttering off the top tier behind the goal. Pinged in low by Grealish, fired into the crowd by El Ghazi. It took a couple of deflections, ricocheted around the 6-yard area before it was gathered by Mendy.
Well, we've all seen it. Anderton, Sheringham, I think, were the first to produce this sort of corner where everyone drives in towards the back post and leaves a gap. It's then whipped in low towards the penalty spot. It worked to treat El Ghazi with a great strike. Just got lucky. It ricocheted between Christensen's legs. Otherwise, I think Mendy would have really struggled with it.
Now Konsa finding Hawes, and it's a pretty much untried pairing for Aston Villa at the heart of their defence, with no Tyrone Mings involved tonight. But Hawes has done really well in recent times, and they are a team who simply don't concede many goals. None in their previous 4 games, 3 wins and a draw. And West Ham, the last side to score a goal against them at the end of November in the Premier League. Now El Ghazi with a lovely little trick around the corner to find Douglas Luiz. The early ball into the area, seeking out Watkins, but Rudiger did well to anticipate, just cuts off the run and clears away on the far side. But Villa here have got pace, and they've got so much creativity moving forward.
They have got real flow to their play. Lovely little flick from El Ghazi. I thought Rudiger did really, really well because he spotted that run early from Watkins and made sure he was on the cover.
8 minutes played, 0-0. Already today, Crystal Palace and Leicester drawing 1-1 in our first commentary game of the day, as Watkins looks to roll the challenge of Jorginho, and the ball maybe ricocheted off his hand anyway, but it went behind for a goal kick. And our 8 o'clock commentary between Everton and Manchester City has been postponed due to a COVID-19 outbreak in the Manchester City squad. So following this game at 7:30, Faye will be joined by Sam Matterface and Danny Mills, and they'll be taking your calls on the day's football action, and also looking ahead to tomorrow. Some big games coming up right across the TalkSport network, including Brighton against Arsenal on TalkSport at 6 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock it is Manchester United against Wolves. But all of the games will have full commentary on each and every midweek game in the Premier League. And the TalkSport app is the best way to follow those. Download it from your usual supplier and then swipe between the commentaries at your leisure. Azpilicueta with a cross in from the right-hand side, but leaping to make the challenge is Target, and it spins out of play for a throw into Chelsea. But a real ebb and flow to this game in the opening 9 minutes. 0-0 here at Ice Station, Stamford Bridge. Giroud makes a run towards the near post. He's literally handed off by Hawes, but it's a short throw in, and then the cross in from Hudson-Odoi is gathered comfortably by Martinez, who looked for that early release once again, and Watkins was the only player forward. And now he is the target of the clearance, and he brings it down well to the Aston Villa left, back towards Grealish, and in behind looking for Watkins again, who just checked his run, but he still had the pace to get there first before Christensen. El Ghazi finding Grealish again, and now Traore on the edge of the penalty area, took it on the half turn, goes down, no free kick given, but here is Douglas Luiz finding Cash, and back towards Douglas Luiz again, and a very deliberate ball forward from McGinn, seeking out Cash on this near side, is cut out, but Aston Villa playing much the better football here in the opening 10 minutes.
I know it sounds a simple thing, but obviously with no supporters being here, you can hear every single kick, every shout, and there's a real crispness and like a real thud to Aston Villa's play. You know, it's really fired in, and you can hear that touch as they control it and then fire it off to the next person, where it's not quite the same with Chelsea's play.
Douglas Luiz with the free kick, headed clear on the far side by Azpilicueta. He then clubs it forward over the halfway line, looking for Conte, but the ball was always arcing out of play, and Aston Villa have a throw-in on the far side. You're listening to Chelsea versus Aston Villa, live on Talk Sport with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch Manchester United versus Aston Villa live this Friday with a Now TV Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. Pulisic on the charge now for Chelsea, into the penalty area, right foot shot from him, ripples the outside of the netting, and that's where Christian Pulisic can be so dangerous, gathering the ball at pace on the edge of the penalty area, and he left both Konsa and Hawes trailing in his wake, but he couldn't hit the target.
And a massive sigh of relief from Jack Grealish, holding his hand up to every single player to say, I'm sorry. Almost shanked the pass towards Konsa, allowing Pulisic to dart in with that quick running style that he's got, and there's a player that isn't quite confident. That only one goal in the Premier League this season, you can see why he got through. Real chance on the right hand side of near the right hand side of the 6-yard box, and hits the side netting.
He's not really been the same player since injuring himself in the cup final against Arsenal, because he was brilliant in that game, scored the opening goal, almost got a second, did his hamstring, and he's seemed to be working his way back to full fitness ever since.
Yeah, I totally agree. Them hamstrings can really play on your mind.
Cash with a long deep cross into the penalty area for Aston Villa, and Azpilicueta didn't really know where Anwar El Ghazi was, so just jabs out the right foot and guides the ball behind for a corner.
But again, Aston Villa, plenty of white-shirted players in the box. I counted 5 as that cross was played in first time, and it being played in first time means that they've already made that decision early to get themselves in the box.
Grealish will take the corner. Traore is the shorter option. Conte just heads out towards the quadrant to cut that off, so Grealish will loft the corner into the 6-yard area, and it's a comfortable claim for Mendy. 13 minutes played, 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. Tomorrow on Talk Sport we have Brighton against Arsenal at 6 o'clock. Over on Talk Sport 2 at the same time, it will be West Bromwich Albion against Leeds. And the games involving Burnley and Sheffield United and Southampton and West Ham will be available on the Talk Sport app. And then at 8 o'clock on Talk Sport, it is Manchester United against Wolves. Mount now with a charge into the penalty area down the left for Chelsea. Pulls it back to Pulisic, and the shot was blocked by a lunging challenge from McGinn, and it spins behind for a corner.
Such good movement. Pulisic goes short, Mount from midfield then makes that run into the space that was left because Cash got pulled out of position, took the ball beautifully, cut it back then for Pulisic who'd made that initial run into the box. Could he have just known that McGinn was diving in there and maybe faked the shot first off and then taking it second time? He didn't, he just fired it into McGinn.
Mount with a corner down the left. It's deeper this time. Martinez, though, comes through the crowd and makes a very good claim and quickly bowls it out. And Villa now looking to break, and Traore has been caught, has he? No, not according to Stuart Atwell. And then there is a blast on the whistle, and it's Chelsea who get the free kick.
It's clearly something they've worked on, Aston Villa, because now that's 3 times that as soon as Martinez has claimed the ball from a Chelsea set play, he's looked to bowl it out quickly or kick it out quickly to get them sprinting away, and it was actually really good defending from Hudson-Odoi to spot the danger.
Rudiger now launches a long ball wide to the far side. Hudson-Odoi was the target, but it's beyond him. But thumbs up from the England youngster as the ball just skips out of play, and it will be a throw into Aston Villa by the corner flag on the far side. Chelsea have won the 6 previous meetings in the Premier League, 2-1 victories last season. Fabian Delph, the last Aston Villa player to score a winning goal against Chelsea back in 2014. This really has the look of a different Aston Villa team now, who of course survived just about last season and have since really prospered. They spent the money. Only Chelsea and Manchester City spent more in the summer transfer window. As Grealish picks up a loose ball, Hudson-Odoi has given the ball away. Grealish deep into the penalty area, pulls it back, and Rudiger just manages to divert the ball away. Douglas Luiz now losing out to Pulisic, and Pulisic, I think, was brought down by Mendy. He was, and a corner kick's being given. Pulisic was heading towards the byline, had nowhere to go, and then Mendy came out and whipped away his ankles.
It's the first time I think I've seen someone die from being tackled by their own player. That's a new one in the Premier League. Has it got to that yet? But still, Jack Grealish brilliantly. He just knows when to release it, and you know, he took 2, 3, 4 extra touches, knowing with his head up that the player wasn't there to pass to, and he just held it and held it. He just needed somebody to gamble at the back post. All 3 were at the front.
Traore with the corner in towards that near post area, lofted away up towards the halfway line by Rudiger, and Grealish again is caught by Conte, and it will be a free kick for Aston Villa, who are in the ascendancy here in terms of possession and creativity, with 16 minutes played on Game Day on Talk Sport. Dean Ashton and Nigel Adderley here at Stamford Bridge. These two sides just outside the top 4 at the moment. Villa in 7th, level on points with Chelsea, who are a place beneath them, as Traore's high ball into the penalty area is volleyed clear by Rudiger. Leicester are moving up into 2nd with their draw at Crystal Palace today. The late equaliser from Harvey Barnes to cancel out the opener from Wilfred Zaha. Liverpool currently have a 3-point lead after dropping points for the first time at home this season against West Brom yesterday, and Leicester and Everton level on 29 points, with Manchester United on 27, and both Villa and Chelsea among a clutch of clubs on 25 points. But if either side wins here tonight, they will move into the top 4 ahead of a busy programme coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, live and exclusive to national radio across the TalkSport network, as N'Golo Conte looks to try and take some responsibility on the far side and drive forward for midfield himself, but there wasn't a huge amount of support around him.
No, but I think that's partly down to Aston Villa. Obviously, we're privileged to be at the games, Nigel, and it does make a big difference when you see a team live. This is the first time I'll see Aston Villa live this season, and they really have improved as a team in terms of their organisation and the way they press.
Now Traore cutting in field from the right-hand side. Left-footed shot is blocked by the ankle of Rudiger. Villa already with 8 victories so far this season. They only had 9 in the entirety of the previous campaign, when at times they did look like a side with a collection of talented individuals, and one particularly talented individual, but there was a lack of cohesion, and they had injuries as well, and
you know, there was too much reliance on Jack Grealish, wasn't there? Whereas now I think the other players they look more confident, like they're willing to take more responsibility, being more of a threat themselves, and in turn that's then opening up more options for Jack Grealish to get on the ball and maybe not be 2 or 3 players around him.
And they currently have the youngest average starting 11 in the Premier League this season. There is the feeling this team could get better And they have bought extremely well, highlighted the problems they had in the team and done their best to do something about it. Here is Watkins again. Traore almost skips beyond Jorginho. Chelsea clear, but it's only a partial reprieve. Here is McGinn. Good ball into the feet of Watkins on the edge of the penalty area, and it was an extremely ambitious shot, right-footed from outside the penalty area, and it loops high over the top onto those blue and white tarpaulins behind the goal.
But again, that came from a really good press from Konsa, who didn't allow Giroud. That ball got played into him. It wasn't quick enough, wasn't alert enough. Konsa got in there, just nicked the ball away from him, which then meant they could turn over and attack down the other end. And I think that's why I said before the game, Konsa and House would prefer to play against Giroud. They know he's not going to beat them for pace in behind, whereas a Werner would be a real threat. So they can, one of them can be really, really tight up against Giroud and make it difficult for him, as they just did there. House winning the header. One of them can be really tight, and the other one can just drop off into the space and see what's happening.
Tammy Abraham on the bench this evening. He'll be very keen to play Aston Villa. Had a great season there on loan a couple of years ago when he helped them to promotion via the playoffs when they beat Frank Lampard's Derby County in the final. His goals really carried the team at times. Here is Chilwell. Now Jorginho with the ball across the field. Christensen has time to step out. Azpilicueta will look to release the pace of Hudson-Odoi down the right-hand side. Infield towards Kante, a lofted cross in, and it was Pulisic who went for the acrobatic overhead kick, but it was a raised boot, and in the end, I think it was Matty Cash, the player he caught inside the 6-yard area, and it's a free kick for Aston Villa.
Yeah, look, these are really difficult, these ones. It wasn't a particularly high ball, but Pulisic and any forward, when that comes across, instinct almost takes over to think, well, I can take the overhead kick on in this situation, and sadly and bravely Matty Cash put his head in to win the header and took a whack.
Well, just as a precaution, Ahmed El Mohammadi is warming up along the touchline on this near side, but Cash has not really moved since the contact. Pulisic was quick to apologise. There was no real intent from him. He was going for the ball, but it's one of those opportunities when both players only have eyes on the ball.
Yeah, I think sometimes when we see some overhead kicks, they're a little bit over the top and elaborate when it's not really needed, but this was the one that just came to him really quickly. Instinct took over to do the overhead kick, and sadly there was no real time to react. Matty Cash, like I said, bravely putting his head in to win that header.
Well, you're listening to Chelsea versus Aston Villa on Talk Sport with WeBuyAnyCar.com. There's now 350 branches nationwide. Find your closest now. Cash is back on his feet. He looks to be okay. They'll go through the usual checks with anything approximating a head injury, but Cash just takes a swig on a bottle of water, and it seems he'll be able to carry on.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky enough just to have a monitor in front of us, and yeah, he does take the full laces and brand logo straight on his forehead.
Cash doesn't leave the field of play. He's able to carry on, and Aston Villa will have a free kick with 23 minutes played on Talk Sport, live at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. Already today, Crystal Palace and Leicester have drawn 1-1 in our 3 o'clock commentary, and Everton against Manchester City has been postponed due to a COVID-19 outbreak in the Manchester City squad. So later on this evening, following this game, Faye Carruthers will be joined by our commentary team, due to be at the Etihad Stadium, or Goodison Park I should say, Sam Matterface and Danny Mills. They'll be taking your calls and also discussing what's been a very interesting Christmas period of football so far. Now Traore on this near side looks to ride the challenge of Rudiger, but he can't do so, and it will be a throw-in for Chelsea by the corner flag on this near side. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talk Sports Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Chelsea at evens. The draw is 13-5. Aston Villa are 16-5, all thanks to Betfair. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. And Aston Villa have another free kick here, a dangerous position. John McGinn bringing the ball down, and N'Golo Kanté, I think he slipped, and then he rugby tackled him.
They're really struggling to get out, Chelsea, because of that press that Aston Villa have got on them. They're just struggling. There's no real out ball. There's no one looking to really stretch Aston Villa and running behind. I'd like to start to see Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic maybe just look to get one or two over the top and push Aston Villa back.
Grealish with the free kick, high to the far post. There's a free header which is looped over the top by Courtney Hawes, and that was a really good opportunity. He arrived on the ball at pace, 8 yards out, and could not keep the header down.
I'm sorry, it doesn't get simpler than this when it comes to heading in an opportunity like this. Grealish just floats it in, like you said, 8 yards out, no pressure on him whatsoever. Just keep your eye on the ball, guide it towards goal. Honestly, it's the most easiest header you'll ever likely to see.
If you'd use the pace of the free kick, all you've got to do, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, he made it way more difficult than it needed to be. Just head that down into the floor. Look, if a striker's in that position, Watkins, then I'm pretty sure it's a real effort on goal.
Chilwell now with the cross in from the left-hand side for Chelsea. Giroud was rising, but you can hear his yelp of frustration because the ball was floated in with far too much air from Chilwell, and it's a claim for Martinez once again.
Well, that's where you've got to know your players. So Chilwell, Giroud is one of the masters at the near post run. So if you know that, let's look to try and get that whipped in with a bit more pace into that near post area where you know Giroud's likely to be.
And Giroud has hardly had a kick so far in the game. A couple of very good chest traps in the opening moments, but we've now played 26 minutes, and the player who was seen as the man who could give Chelsea an extra attacking dimension today, he's hardly had the ball.
Well, like I said, because of the way that they're playing, because he hasn't got that pace, I know exactly how he feels, because I've been there when you play against two centre-backs that are going to be really aggressive, one of them really, really close to you and trying to make it difficult for you to control the ball, and the other just dropping off in behind. You do feel as if there's nowhere really to go.
Now Hudson-Odoi coming in field again from the right-hand side, lofted high towards the left, and Pulisic, Chilwell, infield towards Mount. And at times Chelsea just looking a bit laboured as they try and break this Aston Villa team down. Now Mount again, Chilwell infield, but it's cut out by Douglas Luiz. But it spins back into the path of Mount. Here is Jorginho, who at times is almost playing as a third central defender, so deep as he is at the base of the Chelsea midfield, and his ball forward comes to nothing. Here is Douglas Luiz, shimmies away from the challenge of Hudson-Odoi initially, but the Chelsea man's able to recover, and he sends the ball ballooning into the Aston Villa technical area for a throw-in. Dean Smith standing there in his Aston Villa tracksuit, Frank Lampard more casually attired to his left. Lampard was stood right at the heart of the Chelsea warm-up on the pitch pre-match, making it very clear he was watching and making it very clear he was looking to see who was prepared in the right manner after what happened on Boxing Day. McGinn again wins another loose ball in the midfield. He's being caught by Hudson-Odoi, and it's an Aston Villa free kick.
Yeah, they're just a step ahead. Too many of the Aston Villa players are a step ahead of the Chelsea players in terms of their aggression, their work rate, willingness to go and win the ball, and it's just meaning that Chelsea are getting pinned back and therefore not able to build. The only bright spark I would say is, you just touched on it there with Jorginho going into the back line. It allows the fullbacks to go higher, and there is space out wide if they move the ball quicker.
Grealish with the free kick high to the far post. Giroud rising to nod the ball away above Hawes, but McGinn again, terrier-like on the edge of the penalty area, just ensures that Chelsea can't get a conclusive clearance in, and eventually scramble clear on the far side. Then Azpilicueta will have only a throw-in.
Yeah, because Aston Villa play a back four, they will be narrow, especially if Chelsea can move themselves up the pitch. They will be quite narrow. If you move the ball quickly, which Chelsea haven't really done, or switch the ball quickly, there is space out wide to them try and get a 2v1 against the Aston Villa fullbacks.
28 minutes played, 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. What is now the final Premier League game of the day as Grealish releases El Ghazi down the left-hand side. He just checks back, finding Grealish again on the corner of the penalty area. Quickly on towards McGinn and wide towards El Ghazi again. El Ghazi with a high cross towards the far post. Mendy comes and he's dropped it, and it's Cash with a final effort, and he was under pressure as he struck it, and it's high over the top.
Yeah, it's a good job he was under pressure. Just did enough, Pulisic. Just as he was about to strike it, Matty Cash, he just got a nudge in the back. Not enough for it to be a penalty, just a clever little nudge in the back as he went to volley it. Got his body then crumpled into a horrible position and then volleyed it over the top. But again, lovely bit of interplay over on that left-hand side. El Ghazi, Grealish, interplaying with McGinn, just opening Chelsea up on that side.
And of course, Chelsea do have a number of options on the bench should they need to change things up, not least Timo Werner. He's only missed one Premier League game so far this season. He's not scored in his previous 10 games in all competition as McGinn just levers Conte off the ball. His dash forward comes to nothing as it's cut out by Azpilicueta. And now Chelsea will try and move forward themselves now. Mount wide towards this near side and Chilwell as we look out from the top tier of the East Stand here at Stamford Bridge. Hudson-Odoi trying his luck on the left. Lovely spin, and then he finds Chilwell again back towards Hudson-Odoi. Here is Pulisic, scooped towards the edge of the penalty area and Mount. And now Hudson-Odoi can come in field again onto his right foot, and he plays a good ball across towards Azpilicueta. Jorginho once again, but Chelsea are rather stodgy in possession. They are moving the ball around, but at the moment Aston Villa look very comfortable. Here's a good ball forward though from Jorginho. Chilwell with plenty of pace on the cross. Giroud believes he was pushed at the near post by Konsa. There's an appeal towards Stuart Atwell and nothing given. It's only a throw-in.
Well, I can see why he's looked back at the referee, because definitely I think it's Konsa just gives him a nudge in the back. But again, I actually think Giroud slightly misjudged it and just got ahead of the ball, and in turn maybe arched his back a little bit too much, and the referee was having on of it.
Mount again coming in field from the left, and it's yet another square ball from Chelsea. Azpilicueta, now Hudson-Odoi, covered by Target. The high cross in from Azpilicueta. There's confusion inside the penalty area. The initial header was blocked by Giroud, and then off balance, almost underneath the crossbar, Pulisic hooks the ball over the top.
Yeah, that's where they're going to be a threat, isn't it? Great cut back from Hudson-Odoi to Azpilicueta, who then just on his left foot curls this in. Giroud's always in a great position in the box. Just got his body shape perfect this time to stop the defender getting in front of him. I mean, he was pretty much fouled as he tried to head it, and then as it ricocheted back to Pulisic, another overhead kick from him, this time over the bar from probably, 4 yards?
Well, Matty Cash knew nothing about it, but he probably kept the goal out there because he was in the way of the header from Giroud, which was goal-bound. Martinez was beaten, and then Pulisic. It was a difficult chance because the ball was behind him. He had to try and twist his body around and keep the shot down.
Yeah, I think when you say he's 4 yards out and he's looking to overhead kick it, like you say, very difficult. Goalkeeper on top of him.
He was way beyond the ball, wasn't
he?
Yes,
exactly. But look, that's where Olivier Giroud is such a threat. If Chelsea can get up the pitch and get that 2v1 as he just did there, and get good delivery into the box, he's always a threat. He's always on the move. His body position's always great, and that time it almost worked.
13 minutes to play in the first half. 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge on TalkSport's Game Day. Our second commentary following the 1-1 draw between Crystal Palace and Leicester. Everton against Manchester City has been postponed. So Sam Matterface, Faye Carruthers and Danny Mills will be taking your calls at the end of this game. Now Pulisic finding the ball into the penalty area for Chilwell, and then a diving header from Olivier Giroud, and Chelsea, against the run of play, take the lead, and Olivier Giroud shows his value to this side once again. Aston Villa undone down their right-hand side, and Giroud stooping to conquer to make it 1-0.
I told you, he's the master of the near-post run, Olivier Giroud. He just bides his time. This time they get it absolutely spot on, Chelsea. 2v1 on down this side. Chilwell so close to being offside. I'm sure they will be looking at it. Lovely bit of work from Pulisic to slide him in, and where was he? He just cut this back this time to the near post. Giroud angled his head, twisted it to nod it down, near post past Martinez. He's so good at that.
Olivier Giroud strikes again, his 9th goal of the season, and that will be a huge relief to Chelsea and Frank Lampard. Another assist for Ben Chilwell. Matty Cash was rather outnumbered on this near side. Traore went missing, didn't he?
He did, but that's the thing. If you move the ball quickly...
Well, they are doing a VAR check here for a possible offside. The ball is already on the centre spot, so Aston Villa are preparing to resume.
I'm sure it'll be that Chilwell incident, but he's onside.
Yeah, goals given. And Chelsea lead by a 1-0, and Aston Villa concede for the first time this month. A run of 4 successive clean sheets brought to an end by Olivier Giroud.
But that was where the space was always going to be, with a back 4 that Aston Villa have got, and the way that Jorginho was pulling into that back line to make a 3 and get that extra man of the wide players and the full-backs combining and looking to get 2v1s. As you just said there, Traore out of position. They worked it really quickly, as Giroud was involved actually with a clever little back flick as well at the start of that move. But I told you, he's just so good at that near post run. It's a forgotten art. Players don't do it anymore. You know, they don't make these clever runs centre forwards. You see it so little, and Giroud's just so good at it.
Now Grealish by the corner flag on the far side wins only a throw. And looking at the replay, Traore was taken out of the game by the flick from Giroud, just stayed where he was. Cash had to go towards Pulisic, so as a result Chilwell was completely unmarked.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking to get into them sort of situations and test the opposition wide players, because they're not natural defenders. They're having to do it, of course, but they're not naturally looking for the danger, and you can catch them unawares as they did then.
Now Chilwell found by Hudson-Odoi with a sumptuous crossfield ball. It's Chilwell picking out the run of Mason Mount on this near side. Pulisic involved once again. Giroud coming very short, directing the traffic for Chelsea, but it's back towards Rudiger.
Also, sorry Nigel, also with that goal, you just said about Giroud as well, just combined, it's the first time he's been able to almost receive it into his feet, no pressure whatsoever, and he is very good at combining. He's got a lovely touch, he's got good awareness, as he did with that flick for Pulisic, and then he wasn't picked up once he got into the box. That's where Konza and House have got to recognise the threat of Giroud.
Pulisic now at pace once again, down the left, wide towards Chilwell. The cross this time is too deep for Giroud. McGinn is able to bring the ball down and clear. Just skims off the head of Jorginho, which makes it a more difficult clearance for Rudiger above Watkins on the halfway line. But here is Mason Mount once again. He's got time to address the ball and loft a pass wide towards the right-hand side. And Hudson-Odoi, 37 minutes played here on TalkSport. Chelsea leading Aston Villa by a 1-0. They could be heading 4th in the table. Azpilicueta with a crossing from the right. Giroud was the target, but Martinez got there first.
Just needs a little bit more support, Olivier Giroud. When the ball does come in, there needs to be one midfield player, or at least a wide player, getting in the box, in and around him, just to take the attention away of the other defenders. But they're starting to get hold of this game properly, Chelsea, and out wide, the two full-backs, Chilwell and Azpilicueta, starting to see plenty of the ball, and they're just not really willing, Aston Villa, to come out of that narrow shell, that defensive unit that they clearly like to have.
Douglas Luiz is dropping deeper and deeper, almost as a third central defender as well. But here is Hudson-Odoi, a lovely ball with the outside of his right boot to find Pulisic on this near side, but the crossing field was cut out. But Mount gathers, twisting and turning into the penalty area, retaining possession and then firing over the top from the angle. It was tenacious play from Mason Mount to keep his footing initially, but he couldn't keep the shot down.
No, lovely bit of footwork, wasn't it, from Mason Mount? Jinked in, twisted, turned, kept the ball, looks as if he went to ground as well. Wasn't a foul though. You heard the shouts from the Aston Villa players as if it did hit his hand, possibly did, but He then got into a great position on that left-hand side of the 6-yard box, but just really snatched at the chance, leaning back, left foot, snatched it over the bar.
39 minutes played. Aston Villa, who had much the better of the opening half hour, trail here by a 1-0. We have more Premier League commentaries coming up on Wednesday evening on TalkSport. A double header from 6 o'clock, Spurs against Fulham, the London derby, and then it's Newcastle against Everton, against Liverpool rather, at 8 o'clock. And the TalkSport app is the best way to follow all of the football this week. Download it from your usual provider, and then you can swipe between the different stations and the different commentaries, with 4 games taking place at the same time. 6 o'clock tomorrow. I'll be alongside Tony Cascarino at Brighton against Arsenal. A loose ball now from Aston Villa, is cut out by Mason Mount. Here is Pulisic into the area down the left, and a really good recovery challenge by Cash. And Aston Villa will look to break now as Traore releases Douglas Luiz over the halfway line on this near side, but he's heavily outnumbered. But he's got the free kick, challenged by a combination of Chilwell and Conte. And Villa have the set piece 15 yards inside the Chelsea half.
That was a pretty good chance though for Chelsea again. Poor distribution from Target, who gave the ball away, and Pulisic got in a great 1v1 position with Matty Cash. But what a fantastic challenge. Just saw which way he was going to go. Made a great challenge inside the box.
Target back towards Hawes. And it's been a difficult last 10 minutes for the Aston Villa's central defenders. Long ball forward from him now is headed away by Christensen. And the Dane now receives it back from Azpilicueta. And it's further back towards Edouard Mendy, who made that really good early save to deny Jack Grealish. One or two other dangerous balls whizzing across his penalty area. No Villa player able to get the final touch. Here is Hudson-Odoi again though, with plenty of green grass ahead of him to attack Target. Conte on his outside, but Conte's low fizz ball into the penalty area is cut out by McGinn. And here is Grealish, and Grealish topples over, challenged by Jorginho, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa once again.
Yeah, but they're just, it's almost because they've got 2 central midfield players, Aston Villa. I know Grealish is playing as a 10, but he's not helping defensively whatsoever. He's almost looking to then receive the ball if they win the ball back. But because they've got the 2 in there, that time, 1 extra Chelsea midfield player was able to then drift away out wide. It was Conte. Then you get the 2v1 with a midfield player and a wide player against your full-back, and they couldn't quite cope. They got away with it this time, but Chelsea just making the numbers in the middle of the park and out wide just count a little bit more.
Dean Smith just having a few words with Gavin Ward, the 4th official beneath us. He enjoyed a victory over Crystal Palace in his 100th game in charge on Boxing Day, but a different story so far here for Aston Villa, with 3 minutes to play in the first half, trailing by a 1-0. Here is Traore midway inside Chelsea territory. Now Cash, who was rather narrow down the right, infield again to Douglas Luiz. It's a long right-footed ball wide to the left-hand side from him. Grealish was the target, but Chelsea again do well just to stop the ball reaching Grealish, although Azpilicueta's clearance only finds Hudson-Odoi, who runs it straight out of play.
I mean, Chelsea have now started to match Aston Villa in terms of work rate and intensity, and because of that they're winning the ball back a bit more. The quality then is starting to show.
Here is Giroud on the halfway line, just bulldozes his way through a couple of challenges, plays it wide towards Chilwell again in full flight down the left-hand side. Pulisic takes over. Chilwell halts his run to offer the width down the left. Here is Mount, and Chilwell again on the overlap, is onside. The low cross though just skips away off Matty Cash and behind for a corner.
Traore needs to do better. I'm pretty sure it'll be something his manager talks about. He was ball watching again, body position all wrong. Chilwell again getting down the left-hand side. Simply not good enough defensively, Traore, at the moment to help his team out.
He had very few first-team opportunities during his time at Chelsea. Scored a couple of goals. He was often used as the central striker, but having to fill in on the right-hand side of midfield here, a position he really excelled at during his time at Lyon. Mount will take the corner on this near side. Now Traore has gone down. He clashed with Rudiger at the far post. Rudiger, I think, was looking to make his run late into the penalty area, and Traore was in his way. Stuart Atwell saw it, but I don't really feel there was any intent from Rudiger.
To be honest, I didn't see it. I was looking at the near post and the number of bodies, but obviously the referee had a good view of it. And referees, the good referees anyway, they spend a long time looking inside the box and not when the corner's taken, and felt there was something there, not enough really to worry about.
Traore and Rudiger are jockeying once again on the edge of the penalty area. Rudiger now makes the run towards the near post, but it's a deep corner from Mount, who then throws back his head in exasperation because it was a poor delivery and a simple claim for Martinez, who now bowls it out to Ollie Watkins, who's been quiet for Aston Villa, wide on the left-hand side. Target makes the run in behind, but it's infield towards Douglas Luiz as we head towards half-time here on TalkSport, with Chelsea leading by that Olivier Giroud goal to 0. Grealish receives it with his back to goal, wide on this right-hand side, and all he can do is run the ball into Pulisic and ensure that Chelsea win a throw-in, and there'll be 2 added minutes at the end of this first half.
I thought Aston Villa started the half brilliantly. You could see the confidence flowing through the side and that intensity and work rate.
Here is Watkins now, looking to use his pace and fasten onto a ball from El Ghazi. But it's cleared away initially by Christensen, and then a very firm header forward from Hawes. It's Giroud who has gone down and gets to his feet rather ruefully because Chelsea have it back. Hudson-Odoi plays it forward looking for Pulisic, but almost casually Konsa plays it back towards Martinez, and Aston Villa will try and build from very deep once again. Courtney Hawes finding target. Watkins looked to make the early run down the centre, but then ran offside, so had to check back, and El Ghazi knocks the ball on one side of Azpilicueta, scoots around the other, and he was caught, and it's a yellow card for the Chelsea captain.
Yep, lovely little bit of skill from El Ghazi. Azpilicueta caught with the wrong body position, too flat, didn't get side onto El Ghazi and just takes him out, simple as that. Just didn't allow him to get past and felt he could take the yellow card.
Free kick for Chelsea to defend here. Traore is over it, wide on the far side. Both Hawes and Konsa are forward at the far post, but the free kick never finds them. Headed away by Mount. Now Cash back towards target, slid into the path of Grealish, midway inside the Chelsea half, and wide towards the left-hand side, and El Ghazi. Early cross into the penalty area, good leap though from Rudiger to clear, and Azpilicueta will just loft the ball high into the air over the head of El Ghazi, finding Hudson-Odoi, and then it's thumped downfield by Azpilicueta again. Aston Villa look to retrieve, but there goes the half-time whistle, and a strange game in many ways. Aston Villa having the better of the opening half hour, creating a couple of really good chances. Edouard Mendy making an excellent save to keep out Jack Grealish, but Olivier Giroud showing his value to this Chelsea team once again, nodding in a cross at the near post from Ben Chilwell. And at half-time, it is Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. Thank you, Faye. Both sets of replacements are currently warming up on the turf here at Stamford Bridge, and it remains a fearsomely cold evening here. I was suggesting it might be the coldest one of the season so far, Dean, but you were at Stoke on Wednesday.
I was, yeah. We all fear Stoke, don't we, in terms of a commentary position? But you're right. I feel like I've got every single Christmas present. I'm wearing them. I've brought absolutely everything, and you showing your experience with your flask, putting me to shame.
Yeah, fail to prepare to fail. Aston Villa are out for the second half, just doing their shuttle runs on this near side, and they needed that first goal, because I'm sure had they got it, they would have been in control of this game, and it would have then become very difficult for Chelsea. Yeah,
and it would have dented Chelsea's confidence, that's for sure. The players that are coming to the side as well, they would be starting to doubt the performance that they were putting in, and they were well on top in terms of the dominance of the game, without maybe creating one or two really clear-cut opportunities, and they'll be disappointed, I think, allowing Chelsea back in as easily as they did.
Well, Chelsea now re-emerge from the main players' tunnel here, just beneath us, as we look out from the back of the East Stand of Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, like so many grounds around the country, have done a really good job of dressing their stadiums in the absence of supporters. A huge banner detailing Frank Lampard's blue and white army in the top tier of the Matthew Harding stand to our right, and the shed end has been picked out in massive blue and white letters to our left. And of course we all hope to have you back inside the stadiums as soon as possible, because while it's great for us to be here and to bring you the commentary, without any question it is nothing like it is with 40,000 people, say, inside Stamford Bridge watching a big game at the top of the Premier League like today, as Aston Villa get the second half underway in their white shirts and black shorts, playing from right to left towards the shed end in the second half, and they've given the ball away. Conte looks to bob and weave away from a couple of challenges and release Hudson-Odoi on this near side, but his ball with the outside of the right boot is overhit, and it will be a throw into Aston Villa once again.
I think Frank Lampard will be desperate for his team not to relinquish the dominance that they started to have towards half-time and start with the same intensity at the level that's needed to compete, and then they're able to show their quality.
Grealish is flagged offside. So the Chelsea team again: Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen and Chilwell, Conte, Jorginho and Mount in midfield, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi either side of the goal scorer Giroud. The Villa team is Martinez in goal, Cash, Hawes, Konsa and Targett, the back four, Douglas Luiz and McGinn, the deepest lying midfield players, with Traore, Grealish and El Ghazi behind Watkins. Watkins on the move now, looking to make use of a ball on this near side, the left, but it's cut up by Christensen, and Chelsea have the luxury of numbers and time to play the ball across their back line, and Rudiger will clear down their left. It's over the head of Targett, but Pulisic is unable to make anything of it, and Aston Villa have it back again. 2 minutes played in the second half here on Game Day on TalkSport. If you're waiting for Everton against Manchester City at 8 o'clock, that game has been postponed due to a COVID-19 outbreak in the Manchester City squad. So we'll be taking your calls on TalkSport for the rest of the evening following this game, with Faye, Sam Matterface and Danny Mills. 08717 223344 is the number. And of course tomorrow we have 5 Premier League commentaries exclusive to the TalkSport network, with Spurs against Fulham and Newcastle against Liverpool coming up on Wednesday. And if you want commentary of the darts at the Ali Pali, that's currently underway over on TalkSport 2 now. Now Pulisic for Chelsea, coming in field from the left-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area. One of those characteristic scoop balls further wide to the left, and Mount, a low ball in from Chilwell, who then looks arms outstretched because nobody inside the 6-yard area could get a touch for Chelsea, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Well, rightly so. He should be asking questions of his forward line. Callum Hudson-Odoi, you have to get in there. As the opposite wide player, you have to get inside your fullback for a delicious delivery like that from Chilwell. Fired it right across. Neither of the centre-backs wanted to touch it in case they put it into their own net. That's where you want your opposite wide man coming in at the back post to tap in.
And the press now from Chelsea, as Hawes tries to just hoof the ball away on this near side, and he's closed down by Hudson-Odoi. It ricochets high off his right boot into touch on this near side, and it will be a throw-in for Aston Villa, which Matt Targett will take. He was part of the Fulham side which beat Aston Villa in the playoff final a couple of years ago at Wembley, when Villa had their 3 years in the Championship, and they must have been a very difficult spell for supporters who were brought up on their time in the Premier League and stories about success in the European Cup and beyond. But Aston Villa look to be on the right lines once again, even though they trail in this game by a 1-0 with 4 minutes played in the second half. It's a team full of young players, keen to prove a point at the highest level, and of course they have the X factor in Jack Grealish, and if they're playing like this overall, Dean, and in the top 6 in the Premier League, there's no need for him to go anywhere else, really, is there? If you love the club so much.
No, I think with the levels that they're at the moment, I think if you're an Aston Villa fan, I think one of the biggest things is the thought of keeping your best players, and Jack Grealish in particular, at the club.
Grealish has been caught here by Christensen, but El Ghazi plays on a low cross into the penalty area. Poor one from him, scooped away on this near side by Rudiger. Christensen has stayed down, but Grealish is back on his feet, and he plays it wide towards Cash. High cross into the area. El Ghazi with the volley in between the legs of Mendy and into the back of the net. And Aston Villa are level. Chelsea furious because Christensen is down, injured on this near side. But Stuart Atwell allowed play to continue, and the deep cross volleyed in by El Ghazi. His excellent form continues, and Aston Villa are level early in the second half, 1-1.
Well, it had to continue. Christensen was the one that went in and fouled Jack Grealish. In turn, obviously he's injured himself, but play had to continue. But it was headed in, or should I say volleyed in, right in the position where Christensen would have been. Azpilicueta gets drawn across because there's too many bodies in the box, because Christensen's absent. El Ghazi comes in hot form, and he wasn't going to miss. 6 yards out, got a good chunky side foot on it, right between the keeper's legs, and continues his great form.
And Christensen is still receiving treatment, and Stuart Atwell, the referee, is surrounded by 4 Chelsea players. Azpilicueta, the captain, is leading the protest. And I think there was also a claim that Targett handled the ball on this near side right at the start of the move. The ball just bobbled up as he challenged N'Golo Conte. Nothing was given then. Play was allowed to continue. Christensen clattered into Grealish. He came off worst. And as Chelsea was short-handed, El Ghazi managed to nutmeg the goalkeeper. 1-1.
And in terms of how you're going to finish at the back post, that is exactly it. It's making sure there's nothing too fancy. You get a really good side foot on it into the ground, so it skids off and makes it really difficult for the goalkeeper. That's exactly what El Ghazi did.
51 minutes played. El Ghazi scoring his 6th goal of the season, the 2nd of the Christmas programme. He's looking to do more damage on this near side again, but it's Hudson-Odoi who clears long downfield. Giroud will have to try and use what pace he has, and he closes down Martinez as Horst plays it back to the goalkeeper. We could hear him trundling from here, couldn't we?
What pace he has. Bless him.
Now Watkins, but he's a very effective player for Chelsea. And he's shown that again here this evening. Watkins has been caught on the far side, but Villa will play on because here is Grealish. Wide towards El Ghazi. The cross was deflected, headed away by Rudiger. Targett then just levers Hudson-Odoi off the ball. No free kick given. McGinn's ball into the penalty area is cleared. Now it's headed wide to the far side by Douglas Luiz, and the cross in again from Cash is just helped away by Rudiger, but Chelsea there under severe pressure. 7 minutes into the second half. 1-1 here on a really cold evening on TalkSport at Stamford Bridge. Here is Hudson-Odoi. High cross into the penalty area from him, though, is over the head of Pulisic. Everybody had been sucked towards the near post, and the ball was overhit, and it's a throw into Aston Villa on the far side.
Yeah, just needed to tidy up with that pass there. Hudson-Odoi, it was the right option to go to the back post of Pulisic, just overhit it this time, but you're right, good bit of pressure from Aston Villa, looking to get crosses into the box and runners from midfield as well.
Chelsea with 3 defeats in their previous 4 games after 9 matches unbeaten. Liverpool have scored more in the Premier League so far this season, but clean sheets have become an issue recently. Already they've used 3 goalkeepers during the campaign. The most players in the Premier League overall, 27 in total. As Frank Lampard has had to contend with 1 or 2 injuries, but at times he's not been happy with what he's seen, has he?
No, he hasn't, and I think he's tried to be fair to the players in terms of if you're playing well, you'll get an opportunity, and if not, you'll be pulled out. But I'm sure he'd be desperate to get a settled side and have all his top players free from injury for a sustained period of time, because he just hasn't had that.
54 minutes played. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. On game day on TalkSport at Stamford Bridge. Here is Pulisic releasing Chilwell again down the left-hand side. The cross is deep. Hudson-Odoi on the end of it, volleys it back into the penalty area. Giroud can't fasten onto it. Pulisic is in there, and in the end it is Traore who plays a long ball downfield over the head of Azpilicueta, and Grealish again is causing problems, challenging Christensen, but this time the Chelsea defender is able just to get a foot in, and Mount plays it forward off balance but beyond Pulisic, and Cash will guide it back towards Martinez. Really good game of football.
Yeah, nicely opening up, isn't it? Both teams really fancying it, to be honest. Both probably feel like they can win the game, and it feels like that, really opening up.
There is a place in the top 4 at stake this evening if either side can pick up a victory here. Brighton against Arsenal is our first commentary game over on TalkSport tomorrow at 6 o'clock, followed by Manchester United against Wolves over on TalkSport 2. It is West Brom against Leeds, and the games between Burnley and Sheffield United and Southampton and West Ham will be available on the TalkSport app, so please download that and then swipe between the two commentaries. And there is Championship action also on TalkSport 2 tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Stoke against Nottingham Forest. McGinn again, such great industry, gathering the ball and engaging the challenge. He's clipped by Giroud, who wags a finger in the face of Stuart Atwell, but Villa have the free kick. Had John McGinn been fit for the whole of last season, I just feel that Villa may not have been as low down in the table as they were.
No, I think he's a key player for them. I think he starts the press in a sense with his aggression to win the ball, and then other players feed in and around him, and he's almost got an appetite for work, hasn't he? Which is great to see.
Well, he had 6 months out either side of the lockdown last season, and only really returned for the final few games. It's Hudson-Odoi.
If only I had that type of appetite rather than the one I've got.
You're looking in good shape.
That's because I've got a massive coat on.
56 minutes played on TalkSport. 1-1 here. Stuart Atwell is just having words with a couple of players, and our assistant referee on the far side has actually had to have a change of flag. The game is back underway. Horse goes all the way back towards Martinez, who has had very little to do since half-time. Now Chelsea look to create something with Giroud on the edge of the penalty area. Conte plays the 1-2 with Pulisic. Here is Mount, and it's become rather scrappy for Chelsea in the midfield area, which will suit Aston Villa. Now Conte lifts a pass wide towards this near side, and Hudson-Odoi. Conte again, left foot shot from him, looked to shape it towards the far post, and it's high over the top as it just bobbles on the blue and white tarpaulins behind the goal.
Thought he made the right decision there, N'Golo Conte. Wasn't really anything on. Giroud wasn't there just to bounce the ball off, just shifted it onto his left foot. Actually a really good strike, connected really well with it, probably a couple of yards, 2 yards over the top of the crossbar. And that's probably the only thing you'd say that's lacking. Obviously Giroud in good form, goal scoring form, but where's the other threat? Where's the goal going to come from if it isn't the Chelsea centre forward?
Mason Mount scored 7 last season, with only 1 in 14 Premier League games so far during the current campaign. Here was N'Golo Conte, now Azpilicueta, and Christensen takes over once again. You're listening to Chelsea versus Aston Villa on TalkSport with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch Man United against Aston Villa live this Friday with a Now TV Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. Pulisic with space down the left-hand side for Chelsea to attack the penalty area. Douglas Luiz gets back to him, but Pulisic continues, and he does well to deliver a cross in, which is recovered by Azpilicueta, and the shot in the end from Conte from a central area is too close to the body of Emi Martinez.
Once again it's down Chelsea's left-hand side. Pulisic, Mount, Chilwell all combining. Traore again struggling to help out his full-back Matty Cash. I just wonder whether Dean Smith will rectify that. Maybe look to bring on El Mohammadi maybe, or Horahan.
Here is McGinn. Back towards target again. A long lofted ball forward from him, though, is overhit and through towards Edouard Mendy. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now, you can get Chelsea at 7-5. The draw is 8-5. Aston Villa are 4-1. All thanks to Betfair. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Frank Lampard has stood there, arms folded, on the edge of the technical area. His team have given up a half-time lead here. He was such a regular goal scorer against Aston Villa during his playing career. Scored 4 in one game once in a 7-1 win here back in March of 2010, and he broke Bobby Tambling's Chelsea goal scoring record with a strike at Villa Park back in 2013. But his side are making hard work of this here. Traoré now with an excellent ball into the penalty area, and it was almost knocked into a dangerous area by Cash, but Jorginho was able to recover. But now Chelsea have given the ball away. Watkins almost found Grealish inside the area. It's hacked away. But Aston Villa, as they were in the early stages of the first half, are enjoying a measure of control here with an hour played, and it's 1-1 on TalkSport.
Yeah, just trying to force it, aren't they, Villa now? Force mistakes, trying to push Chelsea back like they did early part of that first half, and it's working. They're just lacking with the final part, the final pass, or the final bit of movement.
Now Hudson-Odoi plays the 1-2 with N'Golo Kanté, who was almost body checked by McGinn, but both players, Kanté and McGinn, were then all arms and legs as they battle forward in the midfield, and now it's been given away by Chelsea. Here is Grealish, almost finds El Ghazi, but it's a Villa throw-in off the challenge of Azpilicueta on this near side. And when we talk about the Villa goal, it's worth mentioning the quality of the cross from Matty Cash, because he's a player who stepped up from the Championship and doesn't look out of place.
Exactly, maybe hardly been mentioned because of how well he's just slotted in. That was an issue, the right back position for Dean Smith last season. It's just fitted in there. It was a wonderful cross, and he just kind of fed it into a dangerous area, and because of Christensen being out of position, Azpilicueta was outnumbered, and El Ghazi finished. Like I said about Traoré, if I was Dean Smith, I would maybe just look to bring someone like Horahan on, get Jack Grealish out onto the left, El Ghazi onto the right hand side. Jack Grealish still hasn't really got into the game in that position in a threatening way, to be honest. Maybe one or two little runs he's had, but maybe just to bring him out onto this left hand side might just give him a bit more freedom to get the ball into his feet and dictate a bit more.
Timo Werner just warming up on the touchline on this near side. He's got more layers on than you have. 62 minutes played. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1 here on TalkSport. The start of a massive week of Premier League action right across the TalkSport network. Of course, no Everton against Manchester City tonight due to COVID-19 issues in the Manchester City squad. So Sam Matterface, Danny Mills, our commentary team at Goodison Park, will be joining Faker Others for the remainder of our programme from about 7:30. At the end of this game, we'll also bring you reaction from both teams. Frank Lampard was really good value after the game on Boxing Day as Chilwell plays a high cross into the area. Giroud was the target at the near post, but it's Courtney Hawes who gets there first to bullet the ball behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, it was a really teasing ball from Chilwell into that near post area again. Olivier Giroud looking to get in between the two centre backs. He's basically attached via a string, isn't he, to that near post.
Corner kick which Mason Mount will take. 63 minutes played, 1-1. Onto the head of Watkins, who is able to guide the ball clear unchallenged, and it will be a throw-in to Chelsea on the far side. And Giroud, as Faye was telling us, another player who has such a good goal-scoring record against Aston Villa, but the days of them being fodder towards the wrong end of the table for year after the year looked to be coming to an end, because there was a real togetherness about this team. The size of Aston Villa and the stature of Villa Park has often inhibited players in the past, but no real sign of that with this group. Here is Pulisic though, in behind Target down the Chelsea right-hand side. Target though recovers well. They need some support, but he's able to turn and clear. And the clearance is onto the chest of Grealish, who outnumbers, with the help of McGinn, the challenge of Jorginho, but it's Conte who comes away with the ball. And here is Pulisic now, high cross on the right-hand side towards the far post. Hudson-Odoi was the target. And once again, it's a Villa head who gets there first at the expense of a corner. Bertrand Traoré this time.
Yeah, he did his defensive duty very well there. Little high five from Cash to Traoré for doing that work. But I haven't mentioned it actually, Jorginho's done very well this evening in terms of just being a bit of a nuisance. Every time Jack Grealish has got the ball, he's been there. He's been looking to pinch the ball off him without giving free kicks away.
Corner played short towards Hudson-Odoi, back towards Mount, space inside the area, and it was pinged in towards that near post. And this time Ollie Watkins was alert to the danger, and he strides in before Pulisic to concede another corner.
Well, that was just basic. 2v1 out at the corner. Jack Grealish went towards the ball. They just played a quick 1-2 as they're trying to do again.
And here was Hudson-Odoi this time with a deeper cross. Free header for Pulisic. The flag's up though. It won't count. The ball has been fired in by Azpilicueta, but the flag had been raised for some time.
Yeah, they just did really well there, Aston Villa, just making sure that they got out quickly. As soon as that short corner's taken, then you would expect a defence to rush out, make sure you try and catch us lazy centre forwards offside, which we generally are, and they did really well, just squeezed out really quickly and caught them offside.
Stuart Atwell just having a few words with Emi Martinez as he spots up the free kick for Aston Villa. And there were 2 or 3 movements of the ball bobbing around the penalty area in the gap between the flag being raised and Azpilicueta firing the ball into the back of the net. But it's an intriguing final quarter here. 66 minutes played. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. Villa heading for only their second draw of the season, and it would be their first draw away from home. And they've won 5 of the 6 previous away games. It's a very impressive record. A side which struggled so much to pick up points on the road last season. Here is Grealish. The back heel almost finds Matty Cash, but the bounce of the ball didn't really favour him as he tussled with Mason Mount. But Villa do have a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, just looking like there's a bit of activity just down below us. Timo Werner came sprinting back from the corner flag. It'll take him a while, like you say, to get them layers off.
Might need some help as well. Throw it into the path of Traoré by the corner flag. On the far side, the Villa right, but he's challenged by Chilwell, who comes away with the ball, and ultimately Chelsea have a throw-in. Frank Lampard is deep in conversation with Jody Morris and other members of his backroom team as they ready that change. It was Douglas Luiz though for Aston Villa. Watkins has been caught by Christensen on the edge of the area, but Villa play on, and it's McGinn who fires in the shot from 25 yards, and it cannons off the crossbar and then loops over the top. Mendy was nowhere, and John McGinn so close to a spectacular second goal for Aston Villa.
Well, Stuart Atwell did absolutely brilliantly to let this continue, because first of all Watkins was clearly fouled, but then they almost lost the ball as well, but he allowed it to continue further, and it came to John McGinn, and we know what a wonderful left foot he's got. He absolutely zings it off the crossbar. Mendy didn't move, too quick for him.
Aston Villa inches away from coming from behind to take the lead here. Here is Kante though for Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi with a high ball towards Pulisic, left-hand side of the penalty area. 2 Villa players quickly surround him, but Chelsea work the opening for Hudson-Odoi to fire in the shot, and it's a fine save by Martinez going away to his left-hand side.
Slick move, all evolving around Hudson-Odoi. Quick little 1-2, and then he fed the ball out to to Pulisic. He didn't just watch and admire, he then came around into the middle of the pitch, got fed the ball, and Martinez did well. He read what Hudson-Odoi was going to do, trying to curl it to the near post. He read it brilliantly.
Double change coming up for Chelsea, and it will be a case of double Deutsch, because Werner and Havertz are both coming on. Havertz, of course, a player who has really found it difficult to strike up any consistency in the Premier League so far, as Grealish drifts away from the challenge of Jorginho, finds El Ghazi inside the penalty area. The cross, though, is just behind Watkins, and Chelsea will scramble the ball away. And El Ghazi may get another opportunity here. He's challenged by Giroud, and Giroud was just a bit firmer and a bit harder in the challenge, really, and Chelsea won it back.
He just wanted it a little bit more. Yes, his foot was a little bit high as they come forehead to forehead, El Ghazi and Giroud.
And there's plenty going on off the ball at the moment, and El Ghazi and Giroud have just been separated by Azpilicueta. Stuart Atwell will come across and have a word with both, and the yellow card is out already. And now the two captains, Azpilicueta and Grealish, are having a set to, both of them arms outstretched, and there will be a yellow card for Giroud and a yellow card for El Ghazi.
Probably didn't need it, but I suppose once you put your foreheads together now, you can pretty much expect a yellow card.
And it's Giroud's last action, because the Chelsea goal scorer will now be replaced by Timo Werner. 10 games without a goal, having scored 8 in his previous 9. And Chelsea are looking to make the change, but Stuart Atwell is continuing to have a conversation with a number of Chelsea players.
Well, I mean, I could even hear from here that Jack Grealish was saying he felt he was kicked by Giroud off the ball.
And it's an attacking change, the second for Chelsea, because Jorginho is replaced by Kai Havertz. Only one Premier League goal for him so far in 13 games, following his £69 million move from Bayer Leverkusen. But Werner is quickly in the action on this near side, but it's a good read and a good challenge from Hawes. And Werner, before he's even touched the ball, is on his haunches clutching his face. May just have been caught by a trailing arm there from Courtney Hawes.
This is actually what I've wanted to see, is Timo Werner playing down the middle. I think that's where he wants to play. I think that's where he'll be best to play. He's not been given much of an opportunity, but what a chance this would be to say to the manager, you need to start me down the middle if you can get the winner.
Well, here is Traoré moving forward now for Villa, rides the challenge of Kante, and it's a good ball wide towards the far side, and Cash has support from Watkins, but it's back in field again towards Douglas Luiz, and now McGinn really fires the ball forward into the path of Watkins, who does well to cushion a header into the path of Traoré, and in the end Chelsea will clear. But at times, with 18 minutes to play on TalkSport, Dean, Chelsea beginning to defend at full stretch here.
Yeah, you would still feel that Aston Villa are a better side, looking the more likely to create chances, and to be honest, it's more Chelsea looking to break on the counter-attack.
Pause. Now Target. And McGinn just losing out, and he slides in, and both Conte and McGinn slid in there to try and win that ball, and it's Conte who is booked.
Nah, I'm not seeing that.
No.
That's what we would say is an old-fashioned tackle, basically, where they both go and try and win the ball. McGinn just gets there first. No one's really hurt. They both seem to get up, but nowadays you can't do it.
And we've had a flurry of yellow cards in the second half. Conte the latest. Here is El Ghazi finding Grealish now on this near side, and Villa pushing hard for the second goal. El Ghazi released by McGinn down the left-hand side, checks back onto his right foot, has support from Target. Target's low ball into the penalty area, swept away by Christensen. Hawes with the ball in field, looking for Douglas Luiz, who initially lost out to Pulisic, but the Brazilian was strong enough to win it back. And here is Cash now for Villa. Low ball into the penalty area. Christensen again with a rather awkward clearance. Here is Havertz, and he's given the ball away to McGinn. McGinn on the edge of the penalty area, turned into Conte, and this time he won the ball cleanly.
Yeah, he looked like he'd rather shoot with his head on the floor than he would his right foot there, McGinn, wouldn't he? He did everything.
It opened up for him, didn't it?
It did. Opened up perfectly. If that had been on his left side, of course he'd have taken it. Right foot, no thanks.
16 minutes to play, 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Intriguing game in the Premier League here on Talk Sports Game Day, as again both sides give the ball away with increasing regularity. A point would keep both outside the top four, a point beneath Manchester United, as Hudson-Odoi comes forward now down this near side for Chelsea. Infield towards the willowy figure of Havertz again. Now Mount wide towards Chilwell, who sets himself for the cross high into the area, rising to clear as Konsa. Now Traore plays a rather dicey ball right across his own penalty area, and he's helped out by El Ghazi, who wins it back, and Villa now have the opportunity to break, and it's Grealish into the penalty area, left hand side. Oh, it's a poor ball back in field. It's cut out by Conte, with both El Ghazi and Watkins waiting for the delivery. It is Grealish who fails to find them.
Yeah, it's rare, isn't it, that he picks the wrong option, but N'Golo Conte just did brilliantly. He got himself into that position where he pretty much said, you've got to choose, you're right, you've got to choose one of the two options, and I'm going to gamble. I'll just make this angle so difficult for you to decide. Brilliant from Conte. That's what's made him one of the best holding midfield players in the world, is because of that ability to get his angles right.
15 minutes to go. You're listening to Chelsea versus Aston Villa on Talk Sport with WeBuyAnyCar.com, rated excellent on Trustpilot with over 80,000 reviews. 08717 223344 is the number to call. Faker Others, Sam Matterface and Danny Mills following this game. Everton against Manchester City postponed. That was due to be our 8 o'clock kickoff. Lovely back heel from Havertz, finding Azpilicueta down the right. A low ball snakes right across the penalty area until Traore clears at the far post. El Ghazi miscontrols, and then Conte has his pocket picked by Grealish, who was down, arms outstretched, with no free kick given. Chelsea have the throw-in.
Yeah, Stuart Atwell hasn't failed for Jack Grealish's attempts to get certain free kicks.
Now it's lofted wide by Mount to find Chilwell, who just for a second was in behind Cash, but Cash, with the help of Traore, recovers. He's then fouled by Mount, and it will be a free kick to Aston Villa midway inside their own half, with 13 minutes to play on Talk Sport. 1-1 at Stamford Bridge.
Well, Chelsea are just going to have to adapt, aren't they? Because Timo Werner coming on gives them a totally different option. And if they get the ball wide, they can't just feed the ball in and hope that Giroud will win the header. They've got to either get right to the byline and cut it back for Werner, or they've got to look to play a little bit differently and try and cut inside and slip him down the side of the centre-backs.
Jacob Ramsey, the teenager, will be coming on soon for Aston Villa. Made his debut against Wolves in the win at Molineux before Christmas. Hudson-Odoi tidies up for Chelsea and finds Edouard Mendy once again. Here is Chilwell, wide on the left-hand side, back in field towards Rudiger. And we have 12 minutes to play. And it's a big call to bring on a teenager in a game like this.
It certainly is, yeah. Must have a lot of faith in him.
Now Conte, one of those high raking balls wide to the far side, brought down well by Pulisic, who jinks in field onto the right foot shot from him, tipped over the top by Martinez. Outstanding save to deny Christian Pulisic.
Well, again, they're just causing so many problems, because every time they go down the left hand side, Chilwell is bombing down the outside, allowing Pulisic to then just do a little jink and cut inside. No one came out to him, so he decided he'll have the shot. I think it was actually going over, just about, but Martinez made sure.
Mount will take the corner, an outswinger down this near side, the right. As Chelsea push for the winning goal, the corner is headed away by Hawes, and now lofted wide by Conte towards Werner, with the fair hair out on the left-hand side. Rudiger, the central defender in the left wing position, finding Chilwell. back towards Rudiger again, and the oomph has gone completely out of this Chelsea attack as Azpilicueta gathers in the right back area, finding Hudson-Odoi. It's Watkins who is back to try and track his run, but Hudson-Odoi delivers the cross low into the near post, cleared away by Target. Azpilicueta heads it forward, looking for Havertz. Clever turn from him, and now Conte midway inside the Villa half, wide towards Havertz again, right corner of the penalty area, further wide towards Hudson-Odoi, who's not given too much of a chance there with the ball wide, but the cross in from Azpilicueta is cleared as far as Chilwell with the shot, volleyed into the ground and blocked by Konsa, and it bobbles behind for a corner.
But that's what you need to do towards the end of the game. You've got to keep things alive. You've got to make sure you're backing up play to win the second balls, as Chelsea did a couple of times there. And then Chilwell, you're right, got the opportunity in that side winding volley position that Martinez was so good at earlier on in the game. Fired it into the ground, good block.
10 minutes to play. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. Here on Talk Sports Game Day on this Bank Holiday Monday. 1-1 as well at Selhurst earlier between Palace and Leicester. The corner, an in-swinger. Easy claim for Martinez, who looks for the out ball, then has to wait because some fairly weary Villa players take their time in getting forward. But we are in the final 10 minutes and Villa are yet to make a change, and for many of their players this is a second game in 48 hours.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you just wonder, that again shows the confidence of the team that they're looking to win this game. But this would be a fantastic result for Aston Villa, but no signs really of taking their foot off the gas. They're going to go toe to toe in the last 10 minutes.
Jacob Ramsey, 19-year-old who was on loan at Doncaster in League One last season, comes on to replace the Villa goal scorer Anwar El Ghazi. And El Ghazi, another player who has really been rejuvenated this season, looked to be a player who was maybe just losing his way. Bounced around a few clubs. Here is Ramsey, first touch from him, and a curling shot, right-footed, is just wide. What an introduction that would have been from Jacob Ramsey. Took the ball down brilliantly, and I think Mendy was beaten, but it was inches beyond the far post.
Oh, what an introduction that would have been. You're right, Watkins does brilliantly just to hold off Christensen and nod it down to Ramsey. That first touch was lovely, the way he got it out of his feet and just bending away from Mendy, but just the other side of the post. But in the way that they've changed Grealish now, as I was saying earlier, it's now come out to this left-hand side, but it's Ramsey who's now giving an extra man in midfield.
Here is Chilwell for Chelsea, wide on the left-hand side. 8 minutes to play. 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Azpilicueta chesting off to find Hudson-Odoi, who comes in field up towards the edge of the penalty area. It's Grealish who is back to try and harry him into an error, but it's Mount who plays it wide towards Chilwell again down the left. Cross there was blocked, and Werner had the opportunity, presented to him by Matty Cash, 10 yards out, left-hand side, and he curled it way too high.
Yeah, I would say that was a chance. Worked it brilliantly, like you said, out to Chilwell, cut back, cut out. Had time as well, Werner. Inside the box, got it onto his right foot. Didn't look confident, looked like a player that hadn't scored for 10-11 games.
People say, oh, he's taking his time to adjust. He did adjust, he was brilliant. Then all of a sudden, he's not.
Yeah, he's just going through one of those patches. You know, once you get to 10 games, that's a crisis if you're a forward player that's used to getting goals. And that was a great opportunity to at least hit the target, and it was a poor finish. But if you listen to a lot of the German experts, or you'd watch much of Timo Werner, he does miss a lot of chances. He's a bit like Mo Salah in that, he gets himself into loads of position constantly. He misses quite a few chances, but still scores plenty of goals.
Well, he scored 35 for Leipzig last season. Maybe a slightly more modest total on the cards during the current campaign, as Ramsey just gets a toe in to divert the ball away from Pulisic, and Cash will complete the clearance for Aston Villa with 6.5 minutes to play. 1-1 here at Stamford Bridge. The ball striking Stuart Atwell in a dangerous area, because Aston Villa were looking to break there, and it will be a drop ball. Slight embarrassment for the referee. ball will be given back to Chelsea. Here is N'Golo Conte. Now Rudiger. Mount again, always looking to the left-hand side, and Chilwell, but he's tight to the touchline with 3 Villa players for company. Pulisic turns in field to find Mount again. Here is Havertz. And Chelsea are getting narrower and narrower as this move progresses. Here is Azpilicueta. Mount on the near side, finding Hudson-Odoi. Azpilicueta looks to turn in field beyond Douglas Luiz, but the final touch was off the Chelsea captain, and that's a goal kick.
Another player that's been superb for Aston Villa this season, Douglas Luiz, spotting the danger there. All good defensive midfield players. That's what you've got to do when play develops. Can you spot that extra man making the run into the wide area when your fullback's out of position, and can you come across and see out the danger? And he did it brilliantly there.
Martinez will clear downfield. 5 minutes to play here at the Bridge. We'll bring you reaction to this game during the programme coming up. The conclusion of our game day without commentary of Everton against Manchester City due to the postponement of that game, but Faye, Sam and Danny Mills will be taking your calls. 08717 22 3344 at the conclusion of this match. And we are on the air with wall-to-wall Premier League football across the TalkSport network from 6 o'clock tomorrow. Brighton against Arsenal on TalkSport, followed by Manchester United against Wolves. West Brom against Leeds will be on TalkSport 2 at 6 o'clock, with the games at Burnley and Southampton available on the TalkSport app. Now Hudson-Odoi finding Havertz on the right corner of the penalty area. Conte squared towards Mount on his right foot. The shot there was blocked. It was travelling, but it was a really good repel there from Conte on the edge of the penalty area. Now Mount just jabbing it wide towards the left-hand side again, and Pulisic will attack the penalty area. The cross towards the far post. Doesn't find a blue shirt. It's a goal kick.
No, it doesn't, but again, looking at Callum Hudson-Odoi, stood still at the back post. Ball was a good one. If he'd have gambled at the back post and again got himself in there with a bit of movement, might have had an opportunity. That's something he needs to learn and improve at, is being a threat at the back post that all good wide players have started to become. You have to be part of the goal-scoring unit of the front line.
Keenan Davis coming on for Aston Villa, and it's Bertrand Traore who's actually gone off on the far side, so we will have a very leisurely stroll behind that goal away to our right before making the technical area. McGinn. Again, he's always so combative, always on the move, but he's lost out on this occasion. Mendy scoops the ball forward for Chelsea into the path of Chilwell down the left-hand side. Rudiger finding Conte again, and it was an interesting back pass towards Mendy. It was quite a lively one. He did well to control on his thigh and clear, and then Azpilicueta is dragged to the ground by Grealish, and it will be a free kick, and Grealish risking a yellow card there because it was thrown back towards Azpilicueta and very unnecessarily got in the way.
What about Mendy's touch there, by the way? Fired back to him, just instant cushion. Brilliant.
That's the life of a goalkeeper these days. Side-winding volleys and a sumptuous first touch. Here is Conte. Square towards Christensen as we head towards the final 2 minutes here on TalkSport. 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea would regard this as 2 points dropped, but in the final analysis I think a draw would probably be a fair result. Here is Werner, back towards Mount. Now Pulisic takes over again, coming in field from the left-hand side, looks for Havertz inside the penalty area, and his low cross is blocked by Konsa, and it's a corner to Chelsea.
Yeah, intricate play again down that left-hand side. They've been brilliant, Chelsea, all evening. Havertz, I just thought he could have checked back and played it to Chilwell. Won a team his corner though.
In swinging corner towards the near post, it's headed away by Hawes. Grealish will gather, has support in field, and it's Ramsey, the youngster, who chases forward, but the pass is overhit and it's gathered by Mendy. he quickly clears downfield, but rather slices it towards this near side where Targett challenges Pulisic. Both technical areas convinced it was their throw-in, but Chelsea get the decision in the 90th minute. Now Werner having to track the run of Hawes on this near side, but he's found Pulisic with a dart into the penalty area. Low cross though is cut out at the near post by Concept, and it's another Chelsea corner as they push for the winning goal here.
Oh, they did brilliantly to keep it alive there. Pulisic with quick feet, faint as if he was going to cross it, just took it that extra yard, won the corner.
Mason Mount will take it. 30 seconds of normal time to play. It's deep and it's headed towards goal by Rudiger, and it's some way off target. And that will suit Aston Villa. And very soon all eyes will be on the fourth official here to see how much added time we will have. But it's been another night when Aston Villa have really impressed.
Yeah, they have. They've come a long way, and this performance just solidifies that. And you'd have to say overall it's definitely been a point of peace really in the way they've both performed. They've had the moments, they've had 20 minutes in, 20 minutes there, each team. It's been a really, really even game.
Minimum 4 added minutes. McGinn's ball forward is cut out by Conte. Now Targett with a long ball lumped over the top for Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz has gone down, challenged by Mount, and it will be a free kick for Aston Villa inside the centre circle.
Right down the middle of the pitch though. It's tricky to know what to do from these sort of set plays. Do you shift it and then try and get the angle? Do you just try and play it short and get it out wide?
Well, it's a free kick, and just for a change, Jack Grealish isn't over it because he's wide down this left-hand side.
And there's no rush, is there?
No.
Particularly, I think.
Douglas Luiz, well, I would say he's counting the stitches, but they don't have stitches in these modern footballs, do they? But it's a free kick, which will be taken by Konsa. Everybody else is forward for Aston Villa, and the whistle has gone again, and it's Stuart Atwell who has penalised Azpilicueta, has he? And both sets of players aren't sure what's happening. I think the free kick's going to be retaken.
Exactly, I think it's just going to be retaken because whatever did happen happened before the free kick was even taken.
Konsa will take it, drifted wide towards this left-hand side, looking for Davis. Havertz with the header away. Now Conte, but Targett will head it forward towards the Chelsea area once again, and it will drift out of play, and Azpilicueta will take the throw-in. But Chelsea are a long way from the Aston Villa goal here. Christensen does knock it long downfield. Havertz with a lovely first touch in field, and now Hudson-Odoi can change the point of the attack right to left. Here is Chilwell finding Pulisic on the edge of the penalty area. Was he fouled? Well, it's Mount who continues as he breaks into the area. Now Pulisic appealing for a free kick. Nothing given, but here is Hudson-Odoi. High to the far post. Chilwell with the volley, and it's wide, and what a goal that would have been.
Oh, that would have been spectacular. Just Hudson-Odoi on this side, nearest to us to the dugouts, just played a lovely little clipped ball over the top of the Aston Villa defence for Chilwell, who was coming in on the left-hand side.
How close was that?
Oh, just got himself, again, another one of those side-winding positions, just fired it across, caught it brilliantly, you're right. Martinez flung himself inches wide.
Goal kick, which Martinez will take. Deep into added time here at Stamford Bridge. Long right-footed clearance, aimed for Grealish, but headed on by McGinn. Now Christensen up towards the halfway line. The head tennis continues, and a free kick has been given to Aston Villa. And once again, Azpilicueta and Grealish are just playing on the edge here as they fight over the loose ball as Aston Villa have a free kick. This could be the chance to win it.
Yeah, it could. Can you get it right? Can you get the delivery right? Can you win that first header? And can someone gamble and get on the end of it?
Targett will take it. McGinn just made the dart towards the left, but then holds, so Targett will knock this one long towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Hawes is underneath it. He's won the header. It's right across the face of goal, headed away, then cushioned down towards Ramsey. Here is Watkins, and the shot from Ramsey was deflected. And right at the end of this game, Aston Villa have a corner.
Oh, it didn't quite fall, did it, for Ramsey? They won the first header. I thought it was a foul, actually. And then Watkins, it squeezed under his foot to Ramsey, who swiveled and had the shot. Luckily, it just got deflected wide for a corner.
Corner kick, which John McGinn will take. Surely the final chance of this game. Aston Villa looking to snatch a victory at Stamford Bridge. McGinn's in swinger, high to the far post, gathered well by Mendy. Under pressure from Hawes. Mendy just for a second stayed down, and that is it. A point apiece, a handshake between Dean Smith and Frank Lampard. Drop points for Chelsea once again over the Christmas period, but a notable result for Aston Villa on the road, coming from behind in the second half. Olivier Giroud giving Chelsea a half-time lead. Anwar El Ghazi volleying home the equaliser, and it was Aston Villa who had the better chances to win the game. John McGinn striking the crossbar, but they have to settle for a point to take back to Villa Park. Full time, Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1.